Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. I got Amazing in here. And today we just have Fred. We're not going to let him use the KC on his name. We ain't giving him that no respect for it. So today it's just Fred. We're gonna drop the KC today. So Fred, how you doing, man?
Hey man, I am doing great. As you can see, I still have the AFC champion shirt. Hey, we went to the Super Bowl. We didn't make it, man, and we didn't get the three-peat, but I just want everybody to know congratulations to Philadelphia and their fans, the football team, Jalen Hurts, Barkley, they did their thing, defense, offense. They showed up and they showed out. And so kudos to them. And KC, we just going to regroup and come back next year. So, hey, I'm happy for them, man. Congratulations for them. Yes, sir.
So you said the AFC champions. That's not the Super Bowl champions, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Hey,
that's like a runner-up prize.
Hey, it's all good. But, to be honest with you, I'm not for sure if I really can hear you right now. So, you could kind of, I'm a little deaf right now, brother. If you could try to help out a brother, I don't know.
Yeah, I was just disappointed. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I mean,
I was just gonna say, yeah, man. Just making it to the Super Bowl, I do gotta give him credit. That's hard for the NFL, but yeah, I thought the game would be like a touchdown close or a field goal. Yeah, KC, it looked like they was like they was out there looking like the Giants and stuff. Like they was confused on the field. So yeah, that threw me off though. But
I don't want to take nothing away from Philly. To be honest with you, the big thing about it is I think it may or could have been like that if Philly hadn't been to the Super Bowl before, but they've been there. They played us. They knew what to expect. They knew what we was going to do. And even in the last Super Bowl, they only lost by 3 points. So at the end of the day, they had to go back and regroup. So this year, hey, they was ready. Now it's our turn to go back and regroup. But hey, I don't take nothing from Philly, Jalen Hurts and Barkley. Hey, the defense, the offense, Sweats, all of them. I mean, they did what they needed to do, and for that, they're champions and Super Bowl champions.
That defense, boy, they was on Patrick Mahomes like they had something against light-skinned dudes, man. I was like, God. They was on my man. He couldn't get out of the pocket though. But shout out to you sound real defeatist now. So Fred, we just wanted to check up on you, and I'm glad you put out your spill. But we
wiping all my tears, man. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying?
But all right, we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and jump into the movie review though. So today we're gonna review Carry On, the action film. So Carry On is a 2024 American action thriller film directed by Collet-Serra, and I definitely butchered that, and written by TJ Fixman. So the plot on this is a young TSA agent fights to outsmart a mysterious traveler who blackmails him into letting a dangerous package slip onto Christmas Eve night. Flight, I mean. So, all right, directed by, it's Collet-Serra, and produced by Dylan Clark. And the cast for the movie, give me 1 second. I got to make my screen bigger, man. I'm starting to get old out here. Taron Egerton as Ethan Kopech, Jason Bateman as the Traveler, Sophia Carson as Nora, Danielle Deadweiler as Elena Cole, Theo Rossi as the Watcher, Logan as Agent Alcott, Dean Norris as Phil Sikorsky, Sonequa Walls as Jason Noble, Curtis Cook as Lionel.
I love Christmas. I don't love that we're working Christmas Eve.
I'll see you at lunch.
It's the most wonderful time.
Good morning, Keegan. Good morning, day shift TSOs. You've all been chosen to spend your Christmas Eve here with 200,000 impatient travelers.
Is this because I'm Muslim? Is this because I'm black?
Is this because I'm white?
Airports turn people into such dickheads.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Excuse me. This isn't mine.
Ethan, today is a day that you're going to remember for a very long time, but if you handle it right, you're going to have a chance to forget it. Just relax, okay? An associate of mine is going to step into your line, and you are going to make sure that his bag clears the machine.
Listen, I work for the Department of Homeland Security.
That's like the janitor at NASA calling himself an astronaut. Let's cancel the text, or we execute your girlfriend. Attaboy. You're a low-level TSO. You're going nowhere. I'm telling you how this goes. One bag for one life.
Who the hell are you?
I'm the guy you listen to. Ethan, are you listening?
We have a 911 call placed from inside LAX.
You killed him. I gave you some pretty simple rules. You got cute. I'd say you killed him. You, I see, like to improvise. Sit right back down. You leave that post, there's going to be consequences.
We gotta go. I don't care what you do to me.
Who said anything about you? You got 10 minutes before everybody in this airport dies.
You think you can take control, huh? You're pathetic, and you're asleep. I guess I woke up.
All right, we go ahead and stop it there. But all right, let me pull up the rating thing. All right, we're gonna start with Fred. You can get Casey back next week. So Fred, what's your rating for this movie?
I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
All right. So you got it in 7.5. That's a very good territory. All right, amazing. What you give it?
I was actually going with 7.5 also.
I'm trying to be like Fred up in here. All right, let's see. Now I'm kind of close to you guys. I got it as a 7.7. A very good territory. So okay, we was all pretty close on this one. Usually you guys have terrible ratings, but I'm maybe that week off like jogged y'all memory, got y'all right. So all right, we'll start with Amazing first on this with the questions. So Amazing.
So my rating 7.5. Why did I give the movie that rating? I gave the movie that because I can't remember, I guess, a movie that I've seen that was kind of like had this kind of plot and storyline. Specifically, what I thought made it better and different was first, I travel, I feel like all the time. Literally just came home from a flight a couple hours ago. And it literally made me think
Hold on. Don't be bragging about your life and stuff.
For work, not vacation. For work. But it made me think because my bag went, I guess, like right today. And so the guy opened it up. He was like, ma'am, this is 3.8 ounces. It has to be 3.4. And in my head, I was thinking, well, nobody stopped me on the way here, but go ahead and toss it. So it just like made me think of all this stuff, depending on who's looking, what can pass through. And then also, if you know me on social media, I was so excited to get my picture taken with a very, I feel like, kind of famous senator today that I ran into at the airport. And he was nice enough to let me take a photo with him. But people do like crazy stuff. So like, because on the movie, it was, I think, a senator, some government person who was on this plane that they wanted to take down. So like all of the things where you just kind of like look around the airport, what's going on. And, I like kind of like true type, like this can actually happen stories. So that's why I gave it a 7.5, because I think like it is definitely feasible. There was just a huge, like a tragic accident a couple weeks ago involving an airplane here. And crazy stuff does happen. And that would like the storyline and plot just, like kind of went through everything that in real life could legit happen. scenes or actresses for performances that stuck out. I thought that main actor was super good. And I don't remember the guy's name, but like the bad guy, I think he just did a really good part. The girlfriend,
Jason Bateman.
Yeah. I thought they all did great. I did like the way they kind of made the TSA worker and then his girlfriend kind of working together at the same place, and they kind of had their routine. I thought that was just like a cute little sidebar touch. I also, so this is a huge spoiler alert, but what also kind of got me on the higher score was kind of the plot twist when the TSA worker thought he was coming face to face with like another bad guy, but really this was like a victim in the whole thing. Also, when he came across, I don't remember the actor's name, but you know, like he had his partner also was kind of like being held hostage at the same time, and they kind of both thought they were like bad people, but really they were both victims. So I just thought that was a really good kind of like plot twist, I suppose. If I was the director, producer, what would I change or do differently? I don't think I would change it. I mean, I thought it was really good. Like, I thought the movie went by quickly. You weren't kind of like waiting around to see what was going to happen, but there was just so many things. Again, if you travel often, I think you would definitely notice like, oh my gosh, that could definitely happen. Even if you don't travel often, I mean, you just see so many different things that could go through on workers that just might not notice something. Or if you're being threatened, of course, could potentially just save one person. I would definitely recommend the movie. I would probably watch the movie again, honestly. One more thing that stuck out was I thought it was very interesting how for the main character, what was his name? Ethan? Nathan?
Yeah.
How he was like super friends. It seemed like very friendly with all of his coworkers. And then all of a sudden, like he switched. Like they thought he was setting up a coworker with like the whole drinking thing. It's like, you got me fired. And with it being on Christmas Eve, which is a crazy day anyways, especially at the airport, I just thought they put all the pieces in for when it comes to traveling. The producer and director, they really just kind of like, you know, grabbed all those points. I liked even in the trailer how they had showed the beginning, because people are so nasty. Again, one of my bags went right today, so I had to step off on the side and do the whole thing. It took me like an extra 2 minutes to go through, but I see that happen all the time, and it's just like ridiculous how nasty some of those people are on why you have to do this extra check. So I thought it was like several amusing points, but it was just so to me like relatable in so many different scenes. So that's why I gave it the 7.5.
All right. I'll go ahead. I'll start and then we'll kick it over to Fred today. So what is your rating and why did you give that movie that rating? I gave it a 7.7. Very good territory, but I'm probably gonna have to bump that up to an 8 because I think Amazing has some good points, like the twist in the storyline. I think, you know, it started off showing them, you know, with their dynamic, you know, two struggling young adults, like Amazing was saying, working together in the, you know, airport together. And, you know, he was, you know, having the internal struggle, I guess, trying to figure out himself. So, you know, he didn't, you know, she was like, man, I really want you to try out for the police academy again and all that. Then he goes to work and, you know, he just has the craziest day and stuff. But like Amazing said, it's funny because, like, you know, when you go in an airport, you just see so many different people going by and stuff, the traffic. So I like how they kind of capture that in the movie where, you know, where he's trying to figure out, he's hearing sounds and stuff and he's looking around and, you know, you just see so many different people that he's trying to pinpoint where that sound's coming from. And so I like how they capture that. And then also, like you were saying, Amazing, how that one guy in the beginning, he was just evil and stuff. So it's like you see them people all the time that's just irritated by everything. And then you got people like you, Amazing, that's hard-headed, that always puts the water in their backpack, even though like they got the signs that says don't do that. So you're jamming up the whole lanes and stuff. So it's very relatable what you said.
It was not water.
Well, whatever liquid that you had since like 2005 that they said don't have in your backpack. You still had it in there, so they got you just delay everything and stuff. So yeah, nah, it just makes sense. Those people, they got to be the face of that, where they're interacting on everything. So no, I just think the storyline, man, it has so much action, and just even the suspense part where Jason Bateman's character is talking to him, and he's kind of talking greasy, and he just has that calm demeanor and stuff. Because I just like the movie, man. I like the whole dynamic. So what scenes and performances stuck out? Definitely I'll say the main top characters, the one guy that was the main actor, Ethan, and definitely Jason Bateman, because he's typically in a lot of comedy movies and comedy, romantic comedies and stuff like that. So it's definitely different seeing him in this type of role, but I think he killed it. He did a great job on that. And so one of the scenes that stuck out, like I said, I think it was the beginning sequence where, he tried to be slick and he stopped the conveyor belt thing, the scanner. And he wrote on that ticket, but that one guy spotted him and stuff. And then so the one agent that looked at it, he started walking off, and that he kind of, Jason Bateman's character showed kind of how dangerous he was. He's like, look, this all happened because of you, so he was just talking to him calm, like, hey, do some more stuff like this. And hey, I'm going to come off. He started naming his girlfriend and stuff. He named his friends, kids. So it just showed the depth that these people mapped out this whole plan out. And then what Amazing said, even the other guy that seemed like the bad guy, he was part of their whole scheme also. He was being controlled because of they had his partner, held hostage. So I like how they just had so many levels and dynamics that, this wasn't a typical, oh, we're going to try to sneak by some generic, plot to get the bomb on the plane or something. It's this was well thought out, because, hey, I think anybody that would have been in that situation and they got your loved one and they're willing to do that stuff, they already kill somebody, in the act. You're gonna act a little different, because at first you're probably like, nah, I'm not gonna harm all these people, over this. But yeah, when they kind of flex and they show that they're willing to go there, you're like, you know what? Let me go on and let this by. So I like how they added that, because usually when we're dissecting movies, we're like, damn, that was kind of unrealistic, because why did they just do this? But it's he thought it out. He did that thing where it's okay, let me write down on this, and that didn't work out. So he was straight and narrow after that. He's like, yeah, I ain't about to slip up no more. So I thought the plot and the storyline was just great. How they it's they sat down and was okay, yeah, that's a little unrealistic. What can we do to take it deeper that make this, flow all the way through? And I think they did a great job on, like I said, mapping that stuff out. All right, so if I was the director and producer of the movie, would I change or do differently? Yeah, I wouldn't change anything, because I think the action flowed all the way through. I think it had enough layers in the plot and the storyline. So yeah, I wouldn't mess with it. This was probably one of the first ones I wouldn't touch. And I definitely would recommend this to everyone to watch. Definitely a great movie. Frederick. The floor is yours.
I've been given a lot of names today, man.
Yeah.
So I gave it a 7.52. I have to concur with both of you. Honestly, some people weren't even born during this time, but this movie, Carry On, really took me back to the 90s. The 90s was where there was a lot of action, and one of the first movies it brought me to was Die Hard, which actually was during Christmas time, and you had Bruce Willis. And a shout out to him, because he's dealing with dementia and stuff like that. So, and then also I thought about Speed, which was another action movie and stuff, and they had Keanu Reeves, and he was doing his thing. Now the difference is both of them were cops, and Eaton, who's paired by Taron Egerton or something like that, he's just an average Joe. And like you said, he was trying to just find himself. And it was kind of wild, because he wasn't even really supposed to be in that position on that day. And Jason Bateman, who's the mysterious traveler, even says, hey, they're like, what's going on? Why is he there? And then they had to really dig into his life to be able to find out who he was. and find out what his weakness was. And for him, his number one weakness was his love, his girlfriend, who happened to be Nora. And like you guys said, she worked there. And so something that I thought, the reason why I gave it a rating is because the action was, and the suspense and the thrill of trying to find out what's next, because it reminded you of a lot of the, as they call it, the cat and the mouse, you know, the chasing and finding out, okay, what's coming around the corner, what's the bend. And they had, you know, you always want to be able to, we all do this because we're human, where we profile people. And I just thought it was interesting that you have a white guy, and then who is he looking for? Another white guy. He's not looking for somebody that's overseas or somebody that's of a different race or a different color or something. He's looking for, and it took a minute for him to actually figure out that it was him, you know, but it finally came to. And then the other thing I thought was interesting was, okay, so you got Ethan and the guy that he all of a sudden looked up to, the guy that actually happened to be his friend and worked beside him, both of those gentlemen were black. And I guess what got me so bad is that there's this quote where they say every action has a consequence and every decision has a cost. And so his decisions and his actions, the older gentleman, his name was Lionel. He was a black brother. He ends up dying. And then the other black brother, his name was Jason, who happened to work side by side and actually convinced his boss to give him a chance to even get in that position for that day. He ends up losing his job and stuff over some alcohol in the cup that actually he's the one that switched the cups in the first place to make sure that he got back in that position because he was trying to save his girlfriend at the time. So I just thought it was kind of like, if it was me and I'm your friend, I don't want to be your friend no more. If this is why I got to lose my job or if I got to die, forget all that. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth being friends with you if I got to go through all that. But that's the situation, and that's what he had to go through. And I just thought it was interesting because here it is in 2024. This was back in the 90s that you had those kind of movies like Under Siege with a boat, or Speed where you had a bus, or, you know, Die Hard where you had the airport or whatever. And here it is, you go all the way, fast forward to 24, and now you have that same similarities and that same concept. So the plot and the storyline, I actually really liked it. I really enjoyed it. And you could tell that they were going somewhere. And it was just like, and you could tell that he was an average Joe, and you could tell that he had feelings, because when he lost the guy that he looked up to and realized that's his fault, because like you guys said, he tried to have that little piece of paper and sneak it to Lionel to be able to check into this dude, he ended up dying. And because of it, you catch him later on in the bathroom, throwing up over the toilet, just really having remorse and feeling guilt about it. He even had guilt and remorse, even when all of a sudden it's his friend being escorted out, Jason, and you find out he gets fired because of it. Not just walked off, but fired. And he even lets him know, I know it was you. You're the reason why all of a sudden my kids ain't gonna be able to eat. You're the reason why all of a sudden what I gotta tell my girl when I get back to the house. And so it was just with all that, he felt all that, but yet at the same time, like you guys were saying, is your girl on one end, or do I say 200, 250 lives, however many was on that plane that this carry-on was going to end up being on? And then so the plot even thickens, which takes me into some of the performances that stuck out. I thought what was interesting was the guy that brings in the carry-on. Okay, you find out that all of a sudden he's actually, you're thinking, okay, he's with the, you know, Jason Bateman, the mysterious traveler. And the reality is he was just like Eaton. He had an earpiece on too, and he was being told what to do. And then I think it was it his boyfriend that was the one that was actually stuck in the van, if I remember correctly? Yeah. And he was being kidnapped as well. And so it was like there were so many it just kind of reminds you of one of those chess games where people were putting different pieces on the board and you was trying to figure out who was going to all of a sudden beat who in this game called life. And so it just stuck out to me because, like I said, for every decision there was a cost. Somebody had to pay the cost, and he didn't want it to be Nora, but at the same time, he didn't want it to be all these people. And is it going to cost his job? And then his boss, he didn't want to all of a sudden kill him. I never forget that scene too. That stuck out to me. And yet all of a sudden the other guy who had to carry on, he was told, hey, you need to just go ahead and kill that dude. He's no longer, we no longer need him. And so he stabs him right there in the neck and he bleeds out. And then they try to cover it up because another guy is trying to come in and find out, hey, what took you so long to open the door? And so all these things were like just a build up and a build up and a build up. And I just thought it really kind of stuck out to me because there was a cost and there was a heaviness to it, but at the same time, it was still full of action. And he was trying to figure out, okay, what's going to happen next? Where are we going to go from here? And so I really enjoyed it. Like I said, it had that little adrenaline where all of a sudden you was just fired up and you was just like, oh, wow, okay, this is about to be good. Okay, where are we going to go from here? And so it kept moving. And so the movie didn't last that long. I enjoyed it. Was there anything that I would change? Honestly, I'm kind of like you guys. I really wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change the time. I wouldn't even change the characters. I felt like it was exactly the way it was supposed to be because it was a thriller, because you really didn't know what was going to come around the corner. You didn't know who was going to die next. You didn't know who the people were, how many people was actually involved. But you knew that it was a thriller because it was supposed to be on the plane and it ends up being right there in the airport because of some of the decisions that Eaton made. And so, like I said, I really enjoyed it. Would I change anything? No. Do I recommend this to anyone? I definitely would because, once again, I did eat all my nachos on this. And I enjoyed it, man. I mean, it was just, with every crunch, every chip, he was just trying to figure out, oh, man, this is good. This is good. And that's how movies are supposed to be. They're not just supposed to be entertaining, but it's also supposed to make you think. And so it really had you thinking. And honestly, I don't know if I would want a Die Hard 2, Die Hard 3 as far as Carry On 2, Carry On 3, but you can almost see this moving on to another one after it's all over, said and done. So I just, like I said, I really enjoyed it. And I would definitely recommend it to pretty much almost everybody. Go see Carry On for sure.
All right. Yeah, I don't think I could imagine them doing another one on this, but yeah, definitely a great movie. But all right, man. Anybody? We start with you, Casey, Fred. You want to change your rating? Or are you gonna stay the same?
No, I'm going to stay the same. Carry On was definitely a good movie. Like you guys said. Justin Bateman, we saw him with Will Smith in that movie. He always usually plays a good guy. So for him to be able to play the villain, I thought he did it superb. And like I said, Taron Egerton playing Ethan, he was also good as well. And so, I mean, they definitely carried this movie in that cat and mouse. So I would definitely leave it the same at a 7.5.
Okay. Amazing. You gonna stay the same, up or down, or?
I'm gonna boost up to 8. And that's for one, just because I keep literally, especially just my trip today, just makes me think like I like all these random things that just took place. Like that's so crazy with us doing the movie review today. And I also agree with Jason Bateman because I think he did such an excellent job at playing a bad guy. Like Jerk had mentioned, just like his whole calm demeanor, but being like an extra bad guy. Like even when the TSA was like, there are kids on that plane, and he's like, like somebody's got to take the hit on this. Like, he just like played that part so good, and I feel like that's difficult sometimes. Like when like you have both mentioned, like he's just kind of known to be like in comedies and things, and I feel like sometimes when you're known for a certain role, it's kind of hard for people to see you in a different role. I mean, but he just did it like seamlessly. So I'm gonna go ahead and go up to an 8. Oh, one more thing to mention is I believe that the director, maybe producer, one of them anyways, I think also did the movie Orphan. So I agree. I don't think this would be a very good movie to do a sequel, but they do good movies because I really like that movie also. So I think that, it just goes to show like good producer, good director, good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to 8 because definitely like I think the actors and actresses, because even the guy that played Ethan, you really don't see him in too many movies. So I like how they had like a mixture. They don't, I say newer faces, and like I said, Jason Bateman playing the villain. I think that was brilliant. So I definitely like how they, because I think after a while, people just use the same people over and over, and it's like, man, I'm glad that we're seeing like new faces and people taking on new roles. Yeah, so Jason Bateman just killed it because I think he had the right personality. They didn't put like the typical like villain in there that's foreign or something. I think Casey Fred was like talking about that where, he was just more intellectual, but like didn't care. Like Amazing said, he was like, yeah, oh well. Like it did when they had to pivot because they're like, okay, man, this who's this new guy? Okay, dig into his background. So I like how they just showed like how the flexibility that they had to go through in the thought process. So like I said, they did a good job with just a plot and a storyline and just actually thinking it out, where there wasn't parts where it's just like, damn, that's just so unrealistic. How they gonna do that? So like I said, it's like they sat down and was like, nah, we got to take it a level deeper because we don't want it to be like, cheesy or too unrealistic. So nah, great job on this movie. So yeah, I'm bumping it up to an 8. But all right, y'all keep tuning in. Definitely check this one out. Casey Fred, he came up here like a champion. Well, I can say champion, but took the responsibility, the accountability of like the whole loss. So shout out to Casey Fred. What was you about to say, Mason?
I was gonna say Casey Fred looks like the Casey version of Flavor Flav.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hey. The quote is every dog has their day. And so at the end of the day, the best man wins. And we just didn't have our best. So, but that doesn't stop. I don't make any excuses. Philly, hey, y'all fans were great. Y'all showed up. Y'all showed out. Y'all did what you were supposed to do. Well-deserved Super Bowl. But at the same time, we still got greatness over here. So we're going to keep on keeping on. And we are a dynasty. So, hey, look out next year. Here we come again. So let's go Chiefs, baby.
But before we close out, if you notice when Casey Fred put up his hand, there was 4 rings, and technically there should only be 2. But shout out.
We'll reality is you weren't born before somebody.
Oh, you count the old school. I thought you were talking about the recent one. So okay, I got you. We're going all the way back in the past. I feel you. The old history lesson.
You can't just count when you was alive. You know what I'm
saying?
In
1868, before the merger, they won. Like I got you. Okay.
You got to count all of them, baby, because they all. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But we waited, we had one, and then we waited 50 years for us to get cranked. But we here, baby. That's what matters. So
hey. The old history excuse. But all right, y'all. Keep tuning in. Peace. Bye.
Peace.